prophecy of budding almonds. The lampstand with the budding almonds is a prophetic foreshadow of the end times. And you see this when you look into the temple where the lampstand stood. It had budding almonds on that golden lampstand. And looking into the teachings in the book of Exodus, you'll begin to see, for context, what the lampstand looked like. Exodus 25:31 through 33 says, "And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold of beaten work shall the candlestick be made, his shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, and his flowers shall be of the same." Now, I'm just make a note here. It calls it a him, his. And it continues on. "And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side." It continues on and it says, 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knop and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds on the other branch, with a knop and a flower, so in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. So we see here on each side of the candlestick going up, there'll be 3 bowls and arms of the branches going up with bowls and budding almonds, and in that bowl would be oil and fire. Now these 7 bowls with this lampstand with budding almonds is a prophetic foreshadow of things to come. And looking at what occurred with Aaron's staff, which budded and almond buds. It's all about the prophetic foreshadow of the plagues and the prophecy coming to pass. In the book of Exodus chapter 7 verse 1 and verse 10 it says, "And the Lord said unto Moses, See, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent." So we see that the rod became a point of reference for plagues and prophesying. So he continues on with the rod in 7:15 and 7:20. It says, "Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning, lo, he goeth out unto the water, and thou shalt stand by the river's bank against he come, and the rod which was turned into a serpent shalt thou take in thine hand." And Moses and Aaron did so as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. So we see that the plagues are starting to be used with the rod. And this is all a part of prophetic foreshadow that the almonds will bud. And this is what was shown in the book of Numbers. In the book of Numbers, chapter 17, verse 8, it says, "And it came to pass that on the morrow Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded, and brought forth buds, and bloomed blossoms, and yielded almonds." So in the budding of the Aaron's rod, and we see the lampstand, there's a meaning behind that. The reason why the almonds budding were put on the lampstand. And it's very significant to the fulfillment of what will occur in the end times. And looking to the book of Revelation, we see that there's prophecy coming to pass. It says, "And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth." And we see here that there's prophesying. In verse 4, it continues on and says, "These are the 2 olive trees and 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth." Now this is a lampstand candlestick. And what occurs with this? In the next verse afterward, in verse 6, we see this. It says, "These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not during the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will." So we see the similar likeness to the budding rod. To the budding rod of Aaron smote the waters and turned them to blood. We also see that the plagues are mentioned. And we know the lampstand prophesies 7 bowls on the earth, and the people get angry about this on the earth, just like Pharaoh and his people. In the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 10, it says, "And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth." And this is the same likeness of Egypt. But going into the plagues, Revelation chapter 15, "And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled the wrath of God." So we have 7 plagues of 7 bowls that are with 7 angels that are prophesied by the lampstand that come to pass in the end over the world. Revelation chapter 16, verse 1 and 2 says, "And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways, and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. And these are the 7 bowls of the 7 plagues. And they come upon the people, and it comes to pass of the prophecy." And this is important to look at when we see this about the budding almonds and the performing of the signs of the prophet. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 11 and 12 talks about the significance, and the Lord gives the clue to what this means. "Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Jeremiah, what seest thou? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. Then said the Lord unto me, Thou hast well seen, for I will hasten my word to perform it." So we see here that the almond budding rod is a sign of the Lord performing and fulfilling a word, a prophecy coming to pass. And when we look to the foreshadow of what occurred with the building and the construction of the lampstand, we see that there are 3 bowls on one side and 1 bowl on the head. And those are 7 bowls. And on that lampstand contains budding and blooming almond branches on that lampstand, which is a sign of bringing the prophecy to come to pass. And that's a prophetic sign. And inside the bowls contained oil. And flame of fire would be with those budding almond branch bowls. Those 7 bowls would have 7 flames of fire. And we know that the prophesying of those bowls is the angels pouring out those 7 bowls on the earth. And those 7 angels that have those 7 bowls are 7 flames of fire before the Lord's throne. And so therefore, when we see the prophet likened unto the lampstand, it's because that lampstand of old foreshadowed the prophet prophesying the 7 bowls with the 7 angels and performing that word that comes to pass in the end times. And this is the prophecy of the budding almond.